All right, Bud, you got people who are agreeing with you left and right.
I'll have you know, Les Levine, that Don D on Twitter quickly supported my claim that that was a fun Super Bowl and a good Super Bowl. Some people like defense within context. If you're looking at one of the premier offenses in the league this year with the Rams, how can you not appreciate the fact that Belichick devised a way to bottle them up?
Well, you can.
And if you're looking at Brady and
Belichick?
Yeah, and I was thinking of the offensive coordinator for the Patriots, and a local guy, and I can't think of his name right
McDaniels.
now. McDaniels. Well, you know that they operate at a really high level, so the fact that the Rams were able to make Brady release the ball sooner. How about a couple of those early passes? One almost got picked. One did get picked. Another one he threw a back, which looked like it could have been easily picked. The back wasn't even ready for it. I think we should appreciate great defense and not. I mean, does every game have to be 49-48?
So you're going to a guy who agrees with you, which is somebody who's not agreeing with me. Exactly. I had a discussion this weekend with my accountant.
Yeah. Okay.
And he says, "You're paying Bud Shaw what? To come on and rip you to shreds?"
All right, I'll agree with you more often.
Although your wife is saying, "He's paying you what?" So let's drop the subject. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. All right. I think, though, that we make such a big deal about the pageantry of the Super Bowl, and you're bringing in people who've never seen a football game all year, right? Mm-hmm. Many people.
Yeah.
And if you show them that and you show them Tom Brady on that particular day, you get a lot of people saying, "Come see me in another LIII years."
I get that. The casual fan's not going to be too impressed with such a game, but. You know, I'm amused by the New Orleans reaction to this, you know, which was a lawsuit filed, billboards in Atlanta. We all know it was a bad call. Are they the only organization or team that's ever had a bad call in a big game?
Every team has had that.
They also had a chance to win the game after that.
Yes, but they do win the game if
probably,
that doesn't happen.
Unless they miss a chippy field
you said,
goal.
What about these New Orleans people? Not that long ago, New Orleans people might have been saying, you know, that coach in Cleveland is going to jump in the lake on a June day.
Yeah, I'd be laughing at that too.
And then they're going to have a parade for 0-16. I mean, that's on the same level.
But that was a spoof to begin with.
Well, we didn't know that. We didn't know.
Of course we did.
We did?
I did.
Okay, I think some people jumped on it, and
I mean, why? How else could it be? What? It could be a serious parade.
Why was there any?
Because some people thought it made Cleveland look like they had bad fans, that they would make fun of their own team.
Right.
Listen, anything the fans did after having to watch those two seasons, I think is all good, and it's good in my book.
All right. If you wagered the game, as I think a few people did, right?
Probably a couple. Yeah,
a couple of people wagered the game. And
I watched the game last night at a restaurant for the first half where there was some people who had entered into some wagering. Not
for entertainment purposes only. All right, well, here's the deal. On our Friday night show here on cleveland.com, Weekend Winners, Ryan Fowler had a pretty good day. Well, he had the good day Friday, but it came to fruition on Sunday. 5 for 5, including picking Julian Edelman as the MVP. And that was pretty good. Not many people would have had that.
No kidding.
Let's take a look at Dave Bacon and the weekend winners.
A recap at Fowler's 5. He likes the Patriots minus the 2.5. National anthem going over 147. Gurley under 72.5 yards. No touchdown for Gronkowski. And your Super Bowl MVP, he's betting it's going to be Julian Edelman. He's betting that the Patriots win that outright. As always, we appreciate the insight. Ryan Fowler from NFLPickWatch.com. Thanks, Ryan.
All right, so here's the thing. People tuning in might be saying, oh, well, they had 24 hours that they could make that up and put that in. No, that actually aired on Friday night. And you would have made a little money if you went with Ryan Fowler.
That was pretty impressive. I thought there were a couple of ones that were, I would have bet Gurley too, because for whatever reason, the Rams didn't seem like they wanted to use him that much.
And the national anthem.
And the national anthem was always, who knows with that. But Edelman as MVP? That's pretty strong.
If you set up the question, okay, it's not going to be Brady and it's not going to be Goff, who's going to be your MVP? Edelman is probably your 6th, 7th choice, maybe.
Well, at least the other prop bet was consistent with that pick, and it was that Gronkowski wouldn't score a touchdown, right?
Right.
So if he didn't score a touchdown, then maybe the MVP would have to come from somebody else.
Or there might have been an interception, pick 6.
But just think on New England alone.
Yeah.
You might have picked Sony Michel. You certainly would have picked Tom Brady ahead of him.
Right.
James White,
maybe.
Who makes big plays on third down. You certainly wouldn't have gone Edelman. Because Edelman, you would go maybe most catches in a game. I would pick him for that.
Maybe, and that was the kind of game, if you break down his game, 10 catches, 141 yards, that's maybe not those numbers, but that's about the kind of game that he plays.
Some people believe that you can't have an offensive MVP in a game when you win 13-3.
It's a good argument.
But I don't know who you would have picked on defense. I mean, who? The guy who...
The interception at the end of the game.
The interception at the end, but that was almost like a fair catch. It was
by the way,
underthrown.
This is what gets me. The only way Los Angeles had a chance to win at the end is do what they did. They didn't have enough time with it to kick the. There's no rule that says you got to get the. If you're down by 10, you got to get the touchdown first, then kick the field goal. So they made the right play. But it's dangerous with people who have a little knowledge. Say, oh, they did that to change the squares that everybody had in the betting.
No, they did it because it was their only avenue to. It's
the only way to get 10 points.
Figuring out a way to tie that up. Yeah.
All right.
The other move that Romo was espousing was turning down that penalty.
Yeah.
Which
you're
I kind of admit.
seconds.
I understand what he was saying, but boy,
he overdid it.
All of a sudden, they have a chance of picking up a first down. Right. And much easier on 2nd and 6 than they would if it was 1st and 16, 1st and 20.
Whatever, 1st and 22, I think.
So I questioned that a little bit, but it turned out that there was some logic behind that too.
Yeah, they would have saved 6 or 8 seconds. Yeah. 216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw with us tomorrow night. It'll be Hoynesy. Hey, Hoynesy will be here before he goes down to not Winter Haven, before he goes to Goodyear. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. You can catch the excitement of live harness racing Monday through Wednesday, now Saturday evenings with a 6 p.m. post time. Open every day early at noon for simulcast action from the top thoroughbred and harness tracks all around the world. Enjoy free handicapping contests all weekend long, including the popular Road to the Derby contest on Saturdays and the weekly Sunday contest featuring Gulfstream Park. It's free admission, it's free parking every day, and that's at Northfield Park. More Sports and Les Levine continues exclusively on cleveland.com.
Your basement is damp, dirty, and not somewhere you want to spend time. Let Nature's Stone Flooring transform your basement into a true extension of your home. Nature's Stone's proprietary hydrostatic ports allow water to simply evaporate, so no mold or mildew. Plus, it has a higher insulation rating than carpet and is warmer than linoleum, vinyl, wood, or tile.
Schedule your free in-home estimate easily online today and get up to 50% off.
Nature's Stone is the affordable basement floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature's Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just the mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Hi, this is Dan Labbe from cleveland.com, and these are 5 off-season priorities for John Dorsey as he heads into his second off-season as Browns general manager. First of all, let's talk contract extensions. Joe Schobert deserves one. The 2017 Pro Bowler had an even better year in 2018. He's the quarterback of the Browns defense, and the Browns need to reward him for that. He's got 1 year left on his deal. It's not very big. They need to give Joe Schobert an extension. And the same goes for Demarius Randall. When the Browns traded for Randall, it was hard to say what they were getting. They converted him to free safety, and then he took over and played very well. He did to the back end of the defense what Joe Schobert did to the front seven. He quarterbacked it. He changed the culture. You've got to give Demarius Randall an extension. As far as getting better, the Cleveland Browns have to address the future of left tackle, whether that's through free agency, the draft, whatever it is. They can bring back Greg Robinson, that's fine, but they've got to bring in some competition for Robinson. They've got to make sure that what they saw last year was not just a flash in the pan from the former #2 overall pick. And then wide receiver, let's talk a little bit about that. The Browns have a nice little group of wide receivers with Antonio Callaway, Jarvis Landry, Rashard Higgins. Those are all good things, but the Browns need to keep adding to that group. Now, they could go get Tyrell Williams in free agency. They could draft someone. They could trade for someone. Hey, if Odell Beckham becomes available, why not at least make a call to the Giants to see what they might be able to give up to bring in Odell Beckham? And lastly, the Browns need to continue to beef up their pass rush. Myles Garrett had a breakout season, 13.5 sacks, almost set the team record. He can be better. But part of what will make him better is making the pass rushers around him better. So you've got Larry Ogunjobi if he can come back healthy. You added a guy like Chris Smith, who's a nice guy off the bench as a pass rusher. But they've got to add a real solution at the other end of that line, add a real solution next to Ogunjobi in the middle. Emmanuel Ogbah wasn't good enough this year. He can be better. If he improves, that helps. But they need to go into this season making Ogbah compete, make him earn that position, and bring in somebody that can help Myles Garrett and make that pass rush better.
Good job by Dan Labbe of cleveland.com. Do you agree with the five things for starters?
Because I have been mentioning left tackle too, and I know some people think that got solidified this year when Robinson moved in for Dennis Harrison, was it?
Right.
But, you know, so I like that idea. The only thing I would say about the rest of what he had to say is I think they still need another run defender, too, in there. Because they just got gashed against Baltimore. And I understand that Baltimore ran an unorthodox offense, but I just didn't think their run defense was very good this year, or as good as it could have been.
I think the fact that it came right at the end of the year, the last game, is a lasting memory on the minds of John Dorsey.
And I don't know how you feel about this, Les. The one thing I wouldn't do is bring in Odell Beckham. I would not do it.
I wouldn't either.
It's going to be very expensive at a time when they can use their #1 picks, right?
Right.
And they're going to have to give up a couple #1s, I would think, to get him. And then you have the whole notion of bringing in a guy with that kind of personality when you've just told the world that you love what Baker Mayfield did in taking command of this team. And I wouldn't want a wide receiver who's going to butt heads or challenge Baker Mayfield as the leader of this team.
Right.
And I think Beckham might do that in a way that's divisive.
And the other thing, you look at it, we were talking about Julian Edelman of New England. Look at that receiving core. That's not very good.
No, I mean, listen, how many times would you get a talent like Josh Gordon, lose him, and still go on to win a Super Bowl, you know? So they obviously thought they needed Gordon's talent at that position. They lost his talent at that position and still filled in with guys.
You know, for people who still think that Gordon could help this Browns team, just look at the fact that you had Tom Brady, you had Bill Belichick, and you couldn't control whatever his demons are.
Yeah. I didn't have any problem with them giving him up when they did. And if he does find success elsewhere, good for him. It'll mean that he turned his career and his life around.
216-575-0403 is the number to call. Bud Shaw, Cleveland of WKYC.com. Tomorrow night, Paul Hoynes from Cleveland.com, and the Plain Dealer will be here. Any change of thought or cemented thought about the Cleveland Indians now that they beefed up the bullpen?
No, I was kind of joking that, you know, you always feel like spring is on the way when that equipment truck leaves, and, you know, the downside to that is that it didn't stop and pick up a bunch of outfielders and deliver them to Goodyear. You know, to me, that's still the gaping.
We'll play right field for food.
That's still the gaping hole here. Is you look and you don't see a big league outfield yet, and
you know what I haven't seen yet? You look around the national guys and the revered outlets in the news world. nobody's come down and ripped them yet. Almost unanimously, they've got the Indians winning the Central Division, and I'm not sure why.
Well, who would you pick to beat the Indians for the division? I think that's a matter of just not default, but when they look at the rest of the division, they say, well, who's ready to take them on?
Yeah, Minnesota will give them a run. I guess you're right. Minnesota will give them a run, but if the Indians' goal is 91 or 92 wins, that'll be good enough to win that division. Yeah,
I would think so. I mean, the bigger challenge is trying to take on the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Astros, and they're certainly not. They don't look positioned to do that right now.
No, but they also, and they won't be, despite what I'm about to say. The team that you're seeing here in beginning of February will not be the team you're going to see in August and September.
Right. It is the team probably we're going to see in April. And at one point I argued that with you, saying, oh, they still have time before opening day. I think they've made it fairly clear that unless something major happens, they're not going to go.
Except there's still over 150 free agents out there.
Yeah, true. Yeah.
Waiting for the dominoes to fall.
Until Machado and Harper sign, nobody's going to sign. So maybe they will find a way to improve that because they have to.
Yeah. All right, the Cavs made a big trade. The Cavs made a trade today.
Yeah.
They get Stauskas from the Michigan guy, but he's only got 2 more months or whatever that is.
Yeah.
He's a free agent. What is that? What do they the Rodney Hood goes? Why?
I mean, they're just looking at. I mean, why would you want him on this team this year anyway? You know, he wasn't particularly effective when he played next to LeBron James and they were playing for bigger stakes.
Right.
And he certainly hasn't distinguished himself this year either. If it's an opportunity to get some draft picks and use those draft picks in another deal, that's probably what
you feel sorry for Larry Drew, or did you just say that's part of the game?
It's part of the game. I think he knew what he was getting into, which is why he was reluctant to take the job. You know, he would rather be the voice than the head coach right now. You know, but I certainly don't think he's in their plans, and maybe he wouldn't want to be in their plans. This is going to be a long road.
We're going to when we come back, we're going to take a list of those 5 guys that you mentioned, see what they have in common.
Oh yeah.
You still have it, or did
I still have
away?
it. Yeah.
All right, we'll take a break. We'll come on back. You can follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/More Sports and Les Levine, with new content posted each and every day. More Sports and Les Levine continues with Bud Shaw right here, exclusively on cleveland.com.
It takes attention to detail. With your local Bryant dealer, you're getting more than just a technician. You're getting someone who pays attention to your needs and the little things that make a big difference. It takes a dealer you can rely on. And to keep your family warm this winter,
here, let me show you how this works.
It takes Bryant.
Bryant. Whatever it takes.
It takes Smiley One Heating and Cooling to bring the heat when things get chilly. Find us at 440-449-HEAT.
Let's take a look at this date in sports history, February 4th. That's back in 1991. Wow. MLB votes to ban Pete Rose from eligibility to be elected to the Hall of Fame. And at the time, Bud, you were a member of the voting crew. How did you feel about that at the time?
Well, I didn't like the fact that they took his name off the ballot. I thought it should have been left up to the baseball writers to decide, but they chose not to do it that way.
Well, then there's only one thing to do at a time like that, and that's to bring in a How Come Quickie for today.
Oh.
Today's How Come Quickie. How come when Tom Brady gets to the pearly gates, nobody should say he's in a better place?
You know what? That may be one of your strongest quickies yet.
I think I did that with Hugh Hefner at one time. It just
you don't have to say that.
No, I still get credit for writing it.
That's very good.
Thank you. Let's go to, well, I'd like to credit my writing staff for that. Let's go to Ellie in Brook Park. Ellie, you found us again.
Yes, I'm here. How are you doing?
Good. How are you?
Fine. It feels funny not being able to see you and stuff, but I have to call you every once in a while just to make sure that your hair is okay and things like that.
Well,
he's having a great hair day,
okay.
by the way.
I can't quite see his.
Bud, how's my hair today?
It's an outstanding hair day.
Hey, speaking of that, did you see at the end of the game with Tom Brady and Bob Kraft?
I did not.
Did you hear about it?
Yes, I did.
We'll discuss it during the break. Okay, go ahead, Ellie.
Okay, I'm wondering, with the unsettling lineup of the Indians have so far, do you think there's any chance Santana might bat leadoff again?
That who might? Oh, Santana.
Santana might bat leadoff again.
There was a reason for it last time around. Part of it is you walk so much, but they also had depth all the way down. They now need depth in the power positions, which would be 5th or 6th in the lineup, right, Bud?
Yeah, I think his ability to drive the ball is going to be a little more important. I wouldn't suspect that he'd be used up there in the leadoff spot.
So you think he'll probably bat maybe 3rd or probably 4th?
Yeah, I would think so. I mean, just because they've lost Encarnacion, they've lost Alonso, they've lost.
It's like Lindor. Lindor
Donaldson.
Ideally should be a 3rd batter, right, on this team. And they put him at first because they had to. They had him at leadoff because they had to. Now he's going to excel wherever you put him.
Yeah.
Okay. And another question. I'm wondering, since they re-signed Perez, do you think he could be the possible 8th inning setup guy?
No, I think he likes them. I think Francona likes the matchups. Lefty-lefty, righty-righty. I think he likes that rather than setting up when you had Miller, you could do anything you want to do.
You know, Ellie, I co-hosted some interview sessions at FanFest for Channel 3 this year, along with Betsy Kling, and we had Francona with us for about 5 or 10 minutes. And I asked him about that back end of the bullpen and the setup and closer role. And I asked him if he thought it was something that could get sorted out in spring training, and he said no. He said you can't do it in spring training. The games don't mean enough. You're trying to get guys work all the time, so you can't really bring them into situations.
Yeah. You may bring a closer in the 5th inning.
Yeah, and so he thinks that it's going to take the first few months of the season before they find out exactly what they have there and who's best adapted for each role.
Hey, Ellie, where are you watching us from?
I'm not.
Okay, you can go to the library and log on with us if you want to do that, or any other place where you can get a computer. That's it's very easy to do. I can even do it.
Wow. Well, if you can do it, then I should be able to do it.
Exactly. It's exactly right, Ellie. Thank you for the call, I believe.
Okay, well, it's nice talking to you both.
And my hair is great tonight, by the way.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
No, thank you.
Yeah, no. 216-575-0403. We mentioned purchasing an opportunity for entertainment purposes only before, in other words, betting the games, and I want you to hold on to that.
Yes.
But we have next year's odds for winning the Super Bowl. Vegas doesn't wait very long. This courtesy of Las Vegas Superbook. They got the Chiefs at 6-1, the Rams, the Saints, and Patriots at 8-1. Chargers, Bears, and Steelers at 14-1, 16-1. The Vikings, the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Cleveland Browns. That, if you add it all up or figure it out, that I think they have them in the 12th spot, which would be good enough to gather that last playoff spot.
Sure, they should.
They should, absolutely.
They've been only building toward it for 20 years. No, I know they've been in the playoffs.
I know.
Then,
it's a different ownership,
yeah,
I know.
Yeah.
All right, you have some names here you gave out earlier.
Well, I asked earlier what people thought these 5 names had in common. Now I'm going to give a hint.
Okay.
They were Mark Bolger, T. Martin, Chris Redman, Giovanni Carmazzi, which is my favorite name, and Chad Pennington.
He's an opera singer, Chad Pennington.
And if I throw in Spurgeon Wynn, I think I give it away.
Yeah, I think Chad Pennington might have done it also. Exactly what's the wording on this?
6 quarterbacks chosen ahead of Tom Brady in the 2000 draft. Spurgeon Wynn picked 183rd by a team that you might remember, the Cleveland Browns.
Yeah.
And Tom Brady then goes 16 spots lower than Spurgeon Wynn.
By the way, no thought here of impugning Mr. Spurgeon Wynn. But the scouting report on him is he had one of the strongest arms that the pro scouts had ever seen.
Yeah.
I didn't say the best arm.
Yeah.
I just said strongest.
And you know, the Browns have certainly taken a lot of criticism over the years for not seeing something in Brady.
Nobody did.
But two other teams in the division picked quarterbacks that year. T. Martin went to the Steelers. Chris Redmond went to the Baltimore Ravens. And they may have been better off at the time and they were looking for somebody in the 3rd or 4th round.
Right.
Pennington was the only first-rounder in that group. The second quarterback taken that year
right?
was Giovanni Carmazzi.
I must truthfully admit, I've never heard of Giovanni.
Okay, well, I made it up. No, I didn't. I swear. It's a real name. I couldn't tell you right now where he played college ball, but I'm sure his family could.
Or what opera house he worked at. 216-575-0403. Here's the lineup for this week. Carlos Santana leading up. No. Just that's for LE's purposes. Tomorrow night, Paul Hoynes will join us. On Wednesday night, it'll be Terry Pluto. Then the D-man, Dennis Maniloff, will be here on Thursday. Our normal lineup. If there's any injuries, we may have to make a change. What could you injure? And what we do?
Vocal cords could go. Yeah.
Could be.
Yeah. Pride.
We have injured Pride. No question about that. I'm going to get that fixed, though, when I go to Sokolowski University. And you popped in the other day.
I did. I made
celebrity sighting.
I made a cameo there on Thursday.
Yeah.
It's a great place.
The great Sokolowski University and the winner of the James Beard Foundation Award. Only 5 in the country make it every year, and they are the only ones, to my knowledge, that has ever won from the Northeast Ohio area. So congratulations to them. Monday through Friday, 11 to 3. Friday and Saturday for lunch, beginning at 4 p.m. going till 10 at night. Sokolowski's University. And Bud Shaw and I return in a moment right here on cleveland.com.
The concrete in your garage is uneven, cracked, pitted, and just plain ugly. Transform your garage into a welcoming entryway with Nature Stone flooring. Reduce tracked-in dirt, eliminate puddling and salt damage. Plus, Nature Stone corrects uneven concrete so you don't have to worry about tripping or slipping.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone is the affordable garage floor solution that beautifies your home. Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education program has been recognizing role model students and teachers since 2007. To nominate a deserving teacher or student, go to ohiolottery.com. In the About section, find Supporting Education. There, you can nominate students in kindergarten through 12th grade as academic all-stars. Teachers can be honored as the Teacher of the Month. Every school that participates is eligible for the School of the Year. The Ohio Lottery Partners in Education, where stars shine.
Bud's favorite part of the show, February 4th, 1959, Les resigns as captain of the safety patrol at Roland School in South Euclid. Many of the other students laughed at his idea to put a wall around Wilmington Road.
You know, it's my favorite only because of the haircut. I really don't even listen to the words.
That's the funny part? That's like an uneven number is funnier than an even number? Is that's what you're telling me? 216-575-0403. We mentioned the Cavs made a trade involving Rodney Hood. Nick Stauskas comes to the Cavaliers. Let's take a look at the stats on that. There you see it. 5th season in the NHL. Played with Sacramento, Philadelphia, Brooklyn, and Portland. This season with Portland, there you see it. Career averaging just under 7 points a year. And he will be a free agent at the end of this year. I'll tell you what I remember about him. He's a pretty good college player at Michigan. I know that. Hasn't made much of an impact, but
yeah, it all just feels like a big chessboard where all the pieces are just pawns moving around, you know?
And for what reason?
Well, because they're trying to get rid of contracts they don't want, and they're trying to get extra draft picks for later on. They're trying to get players back that they don't have to take a lot of value on. I mean, that's probably why the J.R. Smith thing hasn't I mean,
right.
Because anybody's taking on him is going to want the Cavs to take money back, right?
Full disclosure, I'm watching the Cavs game the other day, and there were two guys on the floor at the same time who I had no idea who they were. I didn't see the uniform numbers just by face. Never.
Yeah, I think there's.
It's a tough sell to the fans.
Get used to that over the next couple years because it's going to be a while.
All right, well, Larry Drew, I don't know how much time he'll have to think about it, but today he talked about the possibility of the return from Kevin Love.
With Kevin, he's coming along. He's coming along. He's participating in all of our all the things that we're doing, all the contact stuff that we're doing. You know, he's moving up the floor, you know, very well. Right now, he's day to day until we get total clearance.
Does he have to go back to his doctor in New York before he's?
Not to my knowledge. Not to my knowledge.
What do your eyes tell you? You know, notwithstanding just catching that nice pass you threw him, you look like he's pretty good. What do your eyes tell you about him? I'm not asking you to be a doctor, just what your eyes tell you.
Well, that he's making tremendous progress. You know, and you know the big thing is to see how he is the day after. That's the real measuring stick to see if there's any type of a setback. And thus far, he's participated in a few of our practices, and there has not been any setbacks coming back the following day. So that just tells me that he's certainly moving in the right direction.
I think you have 5 games since the All-Star break. You think he'll play before then?
I don't know. You know, hopefully he will, but we'll just have to wait. We'll just have to wait and see.
Is there a school they go to say? To practice the right answers, and if you come
to say nothing.
Yeah, if you become a coach in the middle of the season, you get half credit.
Yeah, you should. I think it was a good question to ask with 5 games left before the All-Star break. You know, what's the rush?
Yeah, good point.
At this point.
Let's go to the phones. We'll go to Pepper Pike. BP standing by. Hello, BP.
Hey, Lance and Bud, how you guys doing?
Good. BP. How are you?
Well, that Super Bowl was a
snoozer. the snoozer bowl.
The stupid board.
Yeah.
You didn't enjoy the defense, huh?
Not really.
No.
And it's funny because when I called you guys 2 weeks ago, I said, you know, the conference championship games to me was like watching 2 Super Bowl games. Those games were exciting.
Yeah. And they had a
lot of drama.
And they had a week between to rest up. Sometimes I think sometimes these guys overdo it. They probably they go too deep and don't just relax and play the game. In many cases, not always.
But I do agree with Bud. I felt the defenses on both sides were excellent. So it was a defensive battle. No one expected that in 2019.
Yeah.
It was like a throwback to 1970.
Yeah,
like when Joe Namath upset the Baltimore Colts like 16-10 or whatever the score was.
Yeah. Boy, that Joe Namath they rolled out yesterday didn't look like the Joe Namath I remember.
Well, no kidding.
Well, it's funny. I once met Joe Namath at a trade show, and I towered over Joe Namath, and I'm not that tall. I'm about 6'1", and Joe Namath must have lost a lot of inches off his knees from all those knee surgeries.
Probably did.
You can YouTube it, I'm sure, but I don't know where I saw it. Some highlights of Alabama's years with Joe Namath. You forget how fast he was. You know, you think of him as the guy who just pulling his leg back, his knees. He was fast back before the injury.
Yeah, but going back to the game, I mean, I think you guys also referenced it. You know, it was like the bottom of the 9th inning. You know, the Game 7 of a World Series. So even though it wasn't an exciting, gunslinging type of football game, obviously it was the final game of the year, so it meant a lot. So it was, must-see TV.
Yeah. And when Brady had to have that one drive, he got it. That one pass to the top of the screen to Gronkowski was tremendous.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's just, like I said, I did predict the Patriots would win. I had a score of about 34-28. So,
how about this?
Won.
They win by 10, and you're talking about a bad game and all that stuff. That's the most points that a Belichick-led team, a winning team, has won by.
Yeah, that's the amazing thing. You know, the other stat about them is, and this game held true, is that they've done very little in the first halves of Super Bowls.
No touchdowns.
And I'm not sure exactly why that is, other than you give a team that every team that gets there generally has a good defense or a great defense, and you give them 2 weeks to prepare for somebody, and they can cause them fits early on.
BP, thanks for the call. I appreciate it very much. Northfield Park is your home for live and simulcast racing. Right now, you can catch the excitement of live harness racing Monday through Wednesday and Saturday evenings. 6 p.m. posts, open early every day for simulcast action. Enjoy the free handicapping contests all weekend long, including the popular Road to the Derby contest on Saturdays. Free admission, free parking every day. That's at Northfield Park. We're coming back one more time. More Sports Les Levine continues with Bud Shaw right here exclusively on cleveland.com.
When my dad started Nature Stone, he created a solution for age-old concrete problems: unevenness, cracking, pitting, and more. Nature Stone solves all of these problems in garages, basements, and outdoor spaces. Nature Stone is beautiful, environmentally friendly, and affordable. Plus, Nature Stone is backed by Russell's Promise, our true unconditional warranty.
Call or go to naturestone.com to schedule your free in-home estimate today and get up to 50% off.
Nature Stone, the only concrete solution.
There are tastes we remember. Every smell brings the happiness of times gone by. Experience this every time you walk into Gallucci's Italian Foods. Whether you need lunch on the go, a catered party, or that perfect blend of wine, meats, and cheeses, Gallucci's has exactly what you're looking for. Straight from Mama's Kitchen for old world traditions or original experiences. From the tastes you remember to new flavors you'll never forget, Gallucci's is a tasty branch of your family tree.
When it comes to selling you a mattress, most retailers are handing you a long line of extra steps that drive up costs and create confusion. At the Original Mattress Factory, we simplify the mattress shopping experience by building mattresses and box springs in our own local factories and selling them direct to you. It's short, sweet, and simply makes sense. So experience more than just a mattress store. Experience an original, the Original Mattress Factory.
Tomorrow night we play the popular game called Hey Hoinsey. Might be his last chance to give us a rant before he heads on down to Goodyear, Arizona. Let's take a look at some of the responses on Facebook. We said which one player from the Super Bowl 53, which one would you like to see on the Browns roster in 2019? And we don't mean Tom Brady. But we did get this response from Gregory Mees. Absolutely, Aaron Donald would fill our biggest need. Glenn Berger says Aaron Donald, the best defensive lineman in the NFL. Scott Matthews, Julian Edelman. Carl Brunstetter, of course, Julian Edelman. He's the true meaning of a football player who has no fear, and he is very humble. Dan Gillespie wants another shot at Josh Gordon. Didn't we have him once?
We did. You know what I'm going to say, and I'm not saying this is a criticism of that one comment about Edelman, but why in football are you allowed to test positive for PEDs and not have it affect your reputation at all?
And only lose 4 games.
In baseball, you do that, and you're like barred from ever being in the Hall of Fame ever again.
Yeah, and you get 80 game suspension in baseball, and you can't play in the playoffs.
Yeah, but here there's no, like, that hasn't affected the way people look at Julian Edelman at all. Not one. Not one person has said, wow, that guy, no wonder he's good in the NFL at his size and all. He must be using this stuff all the time, right? And his argument is he tested positive. He passed a bunch of tests.
Yep.
And here was this one thing that went awry. Okay, maybe he's right. But that's what everybody who tests positive says.
Yeah.
I passed a lot of tests. Lance Armstrong was like, I passed all these tests my whole career.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm getting worked up.
That's okay.
I don't have anything against Julian Edelman, but in NFL, people don't care. Fans don't care.
Okay.
Baseball purists care.
You told me you did not see Bob Kraft and
I did not.
And
Tom Brady.
Tom Brady. But do you know what it's about?
Yes, I do. I heard people talk about it today.
There was an embrace at midfield, and that's fine. But did you see the one shot of Mr. Kraft in his loge and his son? Some good play happened. Mr. Kraft has to be 85.
He's up there.
All right. Now, if you would just punch me real hard here, it would hurt. Could you imagine? I don't want you to. I just wanted to mention Bob Kraft's son gave him a pretty good shot to the gut. and I admit it was a big play for New England, so I could understand his exuberance in it.
The old gut punch.
Or it's, hey, wait for, I know you don't like your father. Wait for, I'll give you the moment where you can punch him in the stomach. No, just kidding.
Are you with me on the Edelman thing?
Yes.
You don't seem as nearly as worked up about it as me.
I'm surprised and not surprised that they didn't mention it. It's a part of the story. It's part of the story of the game. It's part of the story of Edelman. It's a part of the story of the NFL. And if they said anything about it, I missed it.
I didn't see it, but again, I was in a restaurant the first half and didn't have the audio real clear. I couldn't hear all of it. So maybe they did, and someone will correct us.
92.3 The Fan, where I will be tomorrow from 10 to 2, had a discussion of moving the Super Bowl to Saturday. What do you think about that? You couldn't call it Super Sunday anymore, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I wouldn't be opposed, but I don't see what.
What's the reason?
Is it because people can't get up and go to work the next day after a Super Bowl?
They said 17 million people call in sick, but I don't know how many would call in sick on a normal winter Sunday.
I'd rather see them make a national holiday out of Election Day.
Oh.
And have people have all the time in the world to get to the polls and exercise their right.
That's fair.
But I never thought about moving the I like it on a Sunday night.
I can think of one reason, legitimate. Mm-hmm. The kids can't watch it if it's ending at 10:30 or 11 o'clock.
Well,
that's been a
true.
gripe about the World Series, about the Super Bowl and all.
Yeah, and it starts at what, 6:30?
6:30. If you started it at 5 on Saturday.
Or if you could start it at 5 on Sunday.
Or start it at 5
on Sunday. And that would cure that. Kids could.
And they can't say, well, that messes up the West Coast. No, it doesn't. The West Coast knows it's Super Bowl, and they're going to party just earlier.
Yeah, there must be good reason for it. It must be more TV dollars that they can get on Sunday as opposed to Saturday.
Any TV commercials get you?
No, I didn't really pay much attention to them at all.
One did. The coach who the first responders commercial.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
That was
all
a
right,
good one.
that'll do it for us. I'll be on 92.3 The Fan tomorrow from 10 until 2. Bud Shaw will be with us back next Tuesday. And we'll have Paul Hoynes tomorrow. And hope you'll join us from 6 to 7 exclusively here on right here on cleveland.com. And of all the shows I've ever done, this was the most recent.